in my in-depth listening to the podcast, I've now adapted to a 4.1 or 4-to-1 ratio for my recovery shake. My question is, would eating during that time frame, and he's talking about that time frame of post-workout, I assume, make the ratio void? Should I only have a shake for 60 minutes and then eat and try to get the maximum benefit, but feel like I'm eating and throwing off some purpose of the shake? This is we are cyclists. This is totally us to ask this sort of question.
What if I do 4 to 1.5 ratio?
Yeah.
Very granular.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Amber, what say you on this one? If you take in a recovery drink of 4-to-1 and then you eat something within that window, did you just ruin the recovery shake and its intentions?
No, absolutely not. I think so. One thing to say is the 4-to-1 ratio. Part of the reason that we cite that is that specific ratio has been used in studies and shown to be effective. Okay. Does that mean that it's the only thing that it's effective? No, it does not mean that. So we know that it is effective. We also know that it's possible that other things are effective. And I think part of the reason that it is effective is for the signaling purpose. So when you take that in, that specific ratio triggers a signaling cascade that kind of gets the ball rolling with some of these processes that we know are important for recovery. If you have solid food or a regular meal or a burrito or something after you've had that recovery shake, it's not going to throw that signaling off. And recovery is as much about feeling satiated, enjoying your food as it is about getting the right nutrients in. So I really wouldn't worry about it. If you have a recovery shake and you're super hungry, or you're hanging out with your friends and you guys are at a burrito shop at the end of the ride, enjoy yourself, right? It's not. But wait, the burrito. All just one thing. What's that mean?
First, take it apart, measure it, but components, put it back together, and then enjoy it thoroughly.
Alex Wilde is like, yeah, that's what you do. Please go on the website and figure out what they say.
Oh my goodness.
I think one question I have with the signaling and this type of 4-to-1, I think in the studies, I don't know this for sure, but I want to see what were they doing during the ride? Were they eating 100 grams of carbs per hour, or were they kind of getting depleted and then they did this? And I wonder if there is a difference if I'm taking in, on my 2-hour ride, 1,000 calories of carbohydrate. If I can just add some protein and that has the same signaling aspect after it, versus if I do let's say a 2,000 kilojoule ride and I take no carbohydrate in, and then I do, I guess I wouldn't do 1,000 calories of carbs, but yeah, 1,000 calories. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? The difference between those two things. And I'm wondering if there is a difference. And if anyone has that, please post it in the forum on this episode and at me. That'd be very interesting to know if there is a difference between that.
One thing I can speak to on that is what the research indicates is the better you fuel during your ride, the less important it is to get the recovery shake in. So it doesn't mean that it's not important, because there's two components of the recovery, right? When we're talking about recovery from this perspective, we're looking at replenishing glycogen stores for one as one piece of that. And then also there's the muscle repair and synthesis, other component of it. There's mental and emotional recovery as well. So there's a lot of different facets of this, but if you are fueling really, really well and consistently throughout your ride and you don't get too far behind on your fueling, then you will be able to replenish your glycogen stores a lot faster than you would otherwise. And so the recovery shake and the timing of it becomes way more important if you do fall behind in your fueling. I know that's not a complete answer to your question, but it's a piece of it. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, it's perfectly stated, because what sort of hole do you carve out? I mean, do you approach it as Nate, who knows exactly I'm getting 110 grams per hour? I know because everything is very quantifiable, versus what I do, which is wait till I'm hungry and then just completely fall apart in the waning hours. The holes at the end of the competitions are very different. And we've seen that. I mean, like visually seen it. It's ugly.
Well, it's also very applicable to probably the majority of us listening to this. Us amateur cyclists, we suck at fueling. We have a lot of room for improvement in terms of
some of us do.
Some. Yeah.
One of us here does.
Generally speaking, amateur cyclists struggle with fueling compared to what they should be doing. They don't nourish enough on the bike. They don't take in enough fuel. It's really common. So these recovery drinks are even more important in that case, for sure. So I don't take in recovery drinks. I take in, usually I make it so that I can have a good meal thereafter. And it's like really high quality food and that sort of stuff. But it's probably because I can't find any sort of recovery drink that doesn't mess with my gut. Maybe vegan protein options, if anybody has any suggestions on that, but it always seems to mess with my gut. And then that having my gut messed up probably puts me even further behind of just not having a recovery drink. So then I might as well just take in high quality food thereafter. And then that's probably getting me into roughly the same spot, I would assume. Hope.
Chad, what are you going to do at Cape Epic? Do you have a plan?
That's my biggest source of grief right now, or consternation, whatever.
Me too.
I don't know. Because I mean, if I look at like CYCLIST gels, which are Science and Sport gels, which I like a lot, they're 22 grams. I mean, I have to pack 5 of those per hour if I'm going to shoot for the high end of what I think I might be able to eventually tolerate, which, I mean, we're talking 6, 7, 8 hours. I can't pack that many gels. So I got to make sense of what the aid stations are going to be. Obviously, I'm going to have to put some calories in fluid, which is probably the way I'll end up going. But it's going to be a challenge. And like I stated earlier, before I had my training disruption, I was gradually nudging up my carbohydrate intake and tolerating it, dealing with it incrementally. But now I've fallen way behind that. So I have to rekindle that. And it's worrisome. I feel like maybe I'll start out with some solid food early on and just beg Pete to go slower and then try to hobble through the remaining hours. I don't know. That's my biggest concern.
Did you actually lose your ability to process carbs? Like,
I tie all that to, speculation, right? If I take in this many carbohydrates and I feel ill, I feel sick, I feel almost fluish, well, probably not really tolerating that amount of carbohydrate. So if I don't encounter that, if I nudge it up a little more gradually and I don't hit that, then I'm probably tolerating that amount. So I was just kind of siphoning, or I don't know what the right term is, but just gradually bringing it up, and I wasn't having those issues. Whereas if I just I'm going on a long ride today, I'm just going to dump carb into the system and hope for the best.
Yeah,
that didn't pan out.
But I mean, your training interruption. So I stopped training for a bit too with my divorce, and then I came back and just banged the carbs. That, like, it didn't go down. I was good to go right away.
So your diet, and I've observed this too, your diet in the interim probably still favored carbohydrates. I have a tendency to shift protein and fat for whatever reason. I mean, I get a fair amount of carbohydrates in there, but if fat is a substantial portion of your diet, I mean, that covers so much satiety and so much caloric input in one fell swoop that I don't have much room or hunger left for carbohydrates. So I'm making a marked effort to reduce my fat intake simply so that I can put more carbohydrate into the system and be hungry for that carbohydrate, and eventually create or increase that number of and gut enzymes that will allow me to tolerate that level of carbohydrate intake.
That's the biggest between Chad and our diets. It's the fat intake. Mm-hmm. Chad's very heavy on the fat, and I'm very light on the fat.
Not very, but to a point where it's higher, and it cuts into what I can do on the carbohydrate side of things.
If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up.
If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down, but let us know what you would have done differently in the comments below.
If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to become a faster cyclist, check out TrainerRoad.com.
Do it.